Masechet Zevachim, page 38. We are 5 lines from the top of the page. We explained yesterday when it's come to the korban, a chatat, the sin offering, there is a special ritual involved with the atonement, which is the four corners of the mizbeach of the altar needs to be sprinkled. The question is, if we have less than that, is that b'diavad, is that by the hindsight, by the after the fact, is that okay or not? So after, as we learned yesterday, the Gemarah completed the discussion, the view of Beit Hillel. Now the Gemarah brings another source of the point of view that matnat dam, that one of the four, only b'diavad, but it can be, according to Beit Hillel, as an act of atonement, even when it's come to sin offering. 5 lines from the top of page 38. Vetana maitela mehacha. And the Tana brings the proof from here. We learn in the Braita. The Torah speaks in 3 different locations, 3 times, when it's come to sin offering, that they use the altar to do the ritual or sprinkle the blood. You see it in the Vayikra in Leviticus chapter 4, verses 26, 31, and 35. Vechiper, vechiper, vechiper. Meaning, the text said, and the Kohen shall make atonement for him. And the other one it says, and the Kohen shall make atonement for him, as well as the 3rd time. So, since it's written 3 times, and as you know, the Torah is very prudent in words and even letters, so therefore, the revuta, the chidush, the novelty, the derivative that we come up from that is, even the Kohen miss out of 4, 3 of matnot hadam, the sprinkle of the blood of the chatat chitzona, putting the outer altar, the sin offering, and he did it only one. Even it's not lechatchila, it's not the way that we should make it as an issue, but by force of circumstance, in the hindsight, it's act of atonement which is an accepted. Why? Because the other 3 is not lemitzvah. Rashi explained that the repetition of the word vechiper and shall make atonements, written one is in chatat hanasi, another one is chatat seirat izim of individual, and the other one kivsa yachid. So all of them use the outer altar to atone. So as we said it every morning when we said the korbanot, that even matana achat mechaperet. So they said mipnei hadin. So the repetition is due to a logical inference. So that's the idea of binyan av that we derive, that all the 4 matanot me'akvot kapara. So the Gemarah said v'halo dinu. Even without the repetition of the psukim, we can derive it. Ne'emru damim lemala v'ne'emru damim lemata, which is, the Torah said that certain korbanot, they use the outer altar in the lemata michut hasikra, below than the chut hasikra, and there are places that it's above. So again, ne'emru damim lemata v'ne'emru damim lemala. We have a chut hasikra, we have the red line. So the Torah said that certain korbanot, certain offering, you put on the altar in the lemata michut hasikra, chetzio atachton, which is below than the red line, and the others should be above. That's in the outer altar, it was a red line, chut hasikra, that to differentiate between the upper and the lower. We learn it in both in the Sanhedrin page 4b and other places beginning of this Masechet. But anyway, the limud here is matan damim omurim lemata netanam b'matana achat kiper. So the same way as the blood that placed in the altar with one placement, he facilitated atonements. Av damim amurim lemala shnam matana achat kiper. The same way, apply the blood concerning that one state above the red line. when the Kohen placed it on the altar, with one placement, he facilitated atonement. So therefore, you don't need to repeat 3 times the word vechiper. או כלך לדרך זו, נאמרו דמים בפנים ונאמרו דמים בחוץ. The Torah stated the blood both in the inner altar, which is when it's come to sin offering of the community. So the Kohen Gadol, the blood of these, or the Kohen Gadol, so the blood of this offering is sprinkled on the incense altar that is inside the sanctuary. And there is also an external altar, they use the term blood, which is a sin offering of an ordinary person, which is the outer altar in the courtyard. מה דמים אמורים בפנים חיסר אחת מן המתנות לא עשה ולא כלום, אף דמים אמורים בחוץ חיסר אחת מן המתנות לא עשה ולא כלום. So basically the same way as we learned that the same blood in the outer and the inner, if you miss, omitted one of the placement, it's considering nothing. So the Gemarah now analyze the 2 possibilities. לראה למי דומה. דנים חוץ מחוץ ודנים חוץ בפנים, או כלכה לדרך זו, דנים חטאת ו4 קרנות מחטאת ו4 קרנות, ולהוכיח חוץ שאין חטאת ו4 קרנות. So let's see which one of the 2 cases the blood of an animal sin offering is more similar. We can say we derive the halacha that external altar from the halacha stated to the external altar. But we do not derive halacha stated with external altar from the halacha regard to inner altar. Or you go the other way around. You go to the, we derive halacha with sin offering, with blood is to be placed in the 4 corner of the altar, from the halacha of sin offering that the blood, 4 corner of the altar. But sin offering consisting of a bird, which is not a sin offering, whose blood is to be placed on the 4 corner of the altar, cannot serve as proof to halacha concerning so animal offering, whose blood is to be placed at 4 corner of the altar. So therefore, that's the limud, that's the derivative that we need 3 times vechiper, Talmud lomar vechiper, 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 and make atonement, total 3 times, and we understand as follows, vechiper afal pi shelo natan ela 3. That even you only did 3 times, it's already atoned. Vechiper אף על פי שלא נתן אלא 2. וחיפר, the third וחיפר, אף על פי שלא נתן אלא 1. So you see that Beit Hillel derived from these psukim, for these verses, that only מתנה אחת מעכבת כפרת חטאת חיצונה. Only one placement can be a reason not to make only b'diavad, a kapara on the outer altar. And the Gemarah said, "V'hai," but each of these psukim is necessary for itself to teach that atonement is achieved for each of the sins through its respective sin offering. V'hai mibayla legufei. So the question is, how you derive this drasha that even the Kohen did not put all the 4 is still atoned. Amar Rava bar Ad Amari asberali. So he said that this fellow, Bar Ad Amari, explained this matter to me. Amar Kra, the Pasuk said, Vechiper alav HaKohen, venislach lo, and it will be forgiven to him. Zoi kapara, zoi slicha, which means the atonement is the act of forgiveness. So why the Torah needs to repeat, to say it twice, Vechiper venislach. Vechiper, you don't need it for the kapara itself, but you derive from that, the chiper, even לכתחילה it should, but if not, בדיעבד, it's still atoned. אימה וחיפר, אף על פי שלא נתן לה 3 למעלה, even he didn't put above the red line, ואחת למטה, וחיפר אף על פי שלא נתן אלא 2 למטה ו2 למעלה, וחיפר אף על פי שלא נתן למעלה אלא למטה. אמר רב עדה בר יצחק, אם כן ביטלת תורת קרנות. So if that's you do, you abolish the requirement of corners that it states with regard to sin offering. That's Leviticus chapter 4, verse 34. So because you tell me that the chatat is accepted, even if not place the blood on the corner, and you put all of them lemata. So the Gemarah said, what's the problem with that? So it said, Ve'ira chamana amar li batlun. that if the Torah said, the Rahmana meaning the Torah, the merciful one, state that this is so let the commandment be abolished. So Gemarah accepted that, and therefore come up with another idea how to accept this drasha. Amarav Eizeho דבר שצריך שלוש, which subject need to have 3 psukim to prove. הווי אומר אלו קרנות. You should say that that's the corner of the altar. The Torah must teach that the Kohen facilitates atonements even if he did not place the blood on 3 of the 4 corners. But in order for the psukim to teach that all 4 placements can be placed below, you have the pasuk, and the Kohen shall make atonement, will have to be written 4 separate time. But still Gemarah asks, Eima vechiper aval pi shelo natan echad lemala v'shelo lemata. You may say that the Kohen atoned even he put only 1 gift. So what we explain, and he said, אימה וכיפר אף על פי שלא נתן אלא אחת למעלה ושלוש למטה. So לא מצינו דמים שחציין למטה וחציין למעלה. So he said, this inquiry, we do not find a case involve blood, half of which place above the red line, half below the red line. So it can be one either places of the blood on the lower half on the altar is in the case of most offerings, or all of it in the upper half of the altar, as in case in the sin offering. So Gemarah said, "Velo vatnan." This is a famous Mishnah in Yoma Nun Gimel 53. Izam meno achat lemala v'sheva lemata. That's what we said in Yom Kippur, right? So they said there kematzlif. My kematzlif. Mach v'Ravuda kiman gedana. So Ravuda said it's like one who weeps. One weeps, another that's not strike repeatedly in one place, but directs one lash beneath the other. So now they said it's a Mishnah in Yoma 58b. They said Hiza al tohoro shel mizbeach sheva pamim. So that's the golden altar. So they said that after the Kohen Gadol sprinkled blood on the 4 corners of the incense altar, he sprinkled blood 7 times on the tohoro of the altar. That's basically Mizbach Hazav. It's a Toisvet and the Ravid and Torat Kohanim. I just want to read the Rambam. The Rambam in Ilchot Avodat Yom Kippurim, chapter 3, said on Yom Kippur, when the Kohen Gadol sprinkles the 8 sprinkling on the altar, cover of the Holy of Holies and in the sanctuary from the blood of the bull and the blood of the goat, he sprinkles once upper and 7 times down. So the blood is not sprinkled literally upward and downward, but in a kind of whipping motion with each sprinkling below the previous one. Page 38b. What does that mean? Taharo shel mizbeach. My love, apalgei de mizbeach. What is not referring to the middle of the side of the altar, because the people say Amri inshei tahar tihara de yoma. Clear noon is the middle of the day, so the root tet hey reish denotes the middle. In the one case, the middle of the day, and the other case, halfway up altar. So now, since the blood was sprinkled on the altar 7 times, inevitably some of the blood landed above the midpoint and some of the landed below the midpoint. אמר רבא בר שלה לאו, לה הגילויי דכתיב וכעצם השמיים לתואר. That's not the meaning of the tohoro. So tohoro, it means on the revealed part, which is the top of the altar. Because the pasuk in Shmot, in Exodus, chapter 24, verse 10, they said, like the every clear, la tohar, librirut, which means taro, is the top of the altar, which it has been revealed after the ashes of the incense are cleared and the pure gold is visible. That's the description in the Torah of the nevuah, of the prophecy that they have on the elders when Moshe Rabbeinu went to receive the Torah. So it means that all the hazaot, all the sprinkling was the same location, and we don't find damim shechetzian lemala chetzian lemata. So the Gemara asks, but va'ika shiraim, the reminder of the blood, which is pure in the base of the altar, even in the case of a sin offering. So they said shiraim lo me'akve. The reminder of the blood is not indispensable for atonement. Va'ika shiraim apniyim is a reminder of the blood in the inner sin offering, which is sprinkled on the inner altar. So they said, Dika de mandamar me'akve, bechad makom me'akve, the same altar. So the blood of the inner sin offering is sprinkled on the inner altar, while the reminder of the blood is poured on the base of the external altar. So there is no case of blood, half of which is presented above and half of which is presented below on the same altar. תניא רבי אליעזר בן יעקב אומר, בית שמאי אומרים שתי מתנות שבחטאת אחת שבכל הזבחים מתירות ומפגלות. ובית הלל אומרים, אחת שבחטאת ואחת שבכל הזבחים מתרת ומפגלת. מה תקף לרב הושע, אם כן ליטני לגבי כולי בית שמאי מחומר בית הלל? Because you see, by בית הלל, the sin offering is pigul even if the Kohen intended to partake of it beyond his designated time, even while performing a single placement. The Beit Shammai maintained that the offering is pigul only if he had the improper intent doing the two placements. Omer leRava ki ichil tera ichil, da'avu leBeit Shammai lechumra. Because they permit the meat of the sin offering only after two placements have been placed. So you see here, it's not listed this case among the other leniencies of Beit Shammai and stringency of Beit Hillel. So now the Gemarah going to speak about the three placements. Amar Rabbi Yochanan shalosh matanot shebachataot. Three placements in the case of sin offering that are not indispensable to the atonement. Einan baot balayla, you don't do it at night. Ubaot le'achar mita, even after the owner of that sin offering passed away, the korban not become invalid just because the owner passed. V'ma'aleh mehen bachutz chayav. And if one who offered his blood up on the altar outside of the temple is liable to receive karet, the punishment received by one who offered a sacrifice outside of the temple. Amar Rava yesh mehem kitchilato veyesh mehem kesofo, which is the sum. It's like the outside, like the blood of the first placement. Some of the end, like the reminder of the blood of a sin offering. So the Gemarah said, chutz velayla zarut uchlei sharet kerem ve'etzba kibus ve'shiraim kitchilatan. Like the first placement. ובאות לאחר מיתה, לשריה ולמפגלה ולעילה לגוון כסופן. אומר רב פאפא מנא אמינא לה, דתנן, ניתן מן הצוואר על הבגד אינו טעון כיבוס. מן הקרן ומן היסוד אינו טעון כיבוס. הר מן הראוי לקרן, טעון כיבוס. ולטעמיך, מן היסוד אינו טעון כיבוס, מן הראוי ליסוד טעון כיבוס. אשר ייזקטיב, פרט לזה שכבר הוזה. המאני רבי נחמיה, דתנן רבי נחמיה אומר שירא אדם שקרבן בחוץ חייב. So Rashi understands that this is a continuation of the Gemarah rejection of the opinion of Rav Papa. So if one infers from the Mishnah as proposed, one should infer likewise with the subsequent clause. But the other commentary go the other way around. You see in Tosfot, Keren Ura. Anyway, אימוד שמעת לרבי נחמיה לנעלה, מדדעה והאיברים מופדרים, לעניין כיבוס, laundering, מי שמעת לי? I say, yes, in. נחמיה rule also in a matter of laundry. So the Gemarah asks, page 39, והתניא learn הברייתא דמים הטעונים יסוד, blood that require the base of the altar, presumably a reference to the remainder of the blood of a sin offering, which must be poured on the base of the altar. That's Rashi, טעונים כיבוס, so they require laundering, ומחשבה מועלת בהם, and intent is effective, which is if the Kohen pours such blood with the intent to partake of the sacrificial meat beyond his designated time, the offering is pigul. והמעלה מהן בחוץ חייב, and one who offers it up outside the temple is liable. ודמים הנשפכים לאמה, blood that poured into the temple courtyard drain and passed through the temple and emptied into Kidron River, which is the blood that has become disqualified, and tunim kibbutz, not require laundering. ואין מחשבה מועלת בהם, intent is not effective, והמלא מהם בחוץ פטור, and one who offers outside of the temple is exempt. מן שמעת לדאמר, מעלה מהם בחוץ חייב רבי נחמיה, וכאמר טעון קיבוס. ומחשבה מועלת בהם, an intent effective with regard to blood that must be poured in the base of the altar, והתניא, יצאו שיריים והקטרת אמורים שאין מעכבת בהם, ושאין מעכבים את הכפרה, שאין מחשבה מועלת בהם. So you must say, כי תניא היא, that Braita speaks about בשלוש מתנות שבחטאת, 3 placement of the blood of sin offering. יחד טעונים יסוד, base of the altar, לקרן הזלה. This blood goes to the corner of the altar, not the base. אימה נטענין יסוד. ומחשבה מועלת בהם. האמרת לשרה ולא מפגלה ולא עליה לגביים כסופן, like the reminder of the blood of a sin offering, אלא כתניא היא בדמים פנימיים. Speak about what? The blood of inner offering, which are brought on the inner altar located in a sanctuary. So for those who read Hebrew, I like to read something from Daf al Daf, my brother-in-law. He brought the Minchat Chinuch Mitzvah Kuf Nun Aleph. Just for those who read Hebrew, very short. הנה המנחת חינוך מצווה קנ"א דן בעניין האיסור לכהן לצאת באמצע עבודתו, וכתב שם להסתפק אם מותר לצאת לו בג' המתנות, וזה לשונו, גם נסתפקתי אם זרק זריקה אחת ויצא, מיני מה כדי חיפר בזריקה אחת, אבל כגמר עבודה לעניין זה, ודין מה כדי השאר צריך לזרוק למצווה, אבל כאמצע עבודה. ובשו"ת בית יצחק, כותב חתנו הגאוות רישא, רבי נתן לוין, לפשוט ספק זה מגופא דמילתא. דים לא היו נחשבות לעבודה, לא היה חייב עליהם בחוץ, והרי זורק שרי אדם בחוץ, אפילו שרי אדם פנימי פטור. הואיל ושירי מצווים, גדית בזבחים ק"י, פסק הרמב"ם, פרק י"ט, דמחייב לה, רבי יוחנן ג' מתנות זרקם בחוץ, על כן עבודה חשובה. So I bring here רבי יהודה סגל, צמח יהודה. Anyway, you should see more on that. There's a beautiful malach here on the Daf al Daf.